What's up, bro? I'm smoking the second version of the cigar that we got down at the DR, and I think it's super, super good for the club, man. I think we should go ahead and lock it in. Yeah. All right, later, bro. Hey. What? Man, that's mold. What's up, guys? Chris at Luxury Cigar Club here, and we're finally back on YouTube. It's been a long time, but we have really missed you, and we've really missed doing this stuff with you guys. Before I start the video, I do want to please ask that you guys comment if you can, like the video and subscribe. It really helps us out. And I thought kind of one of the best ways to get back into it was talking about some of the cigar myths that are out there in the cigar industry. You guys have all heard them. You all know what they might be, but I have a few that really get to me personally and all of us here at Luxury Cigar Club. So I wanted to go through those. Before I get there, I am smoking a really interesting cigar. You might be getting it soon, or you would have just gotten it. It is a cigar from Kellner Boutique Factory, and it is delicious. It's the Jopitos. So I think we're gonna handle this list from like the one that is least impactful to the one that I think is most impactful to the community. So, right, when we're talking about ash length, we're talking about how long the cigar ash is before it falls off of the cigar. A lot of people have a lot of different thoughts and feelings about this. And based on my experience talking with master blenders all the way from Henry Kellner, Weaver Ventura, William Ventura, and Hostos down at Tabacalera La Isla, the length of the ash has nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with the quality of the cigar. So that is a total myth, busted myth, busted out. Not true at all. What causes the ash length is the tobacco that's inside and the type of tobacco it is, the thickness of the tobacco. Some cigars use a lot of really thick tobacco. Some cigars don't. So it's all down to that. So don't get it twisted. Don't get tripped up on if you have a long ash, you have a good cigar. It's totally not true. So that is a busted myth. Now, if you don't agree with me, comment down below, tell me why I'm wrong, because I'm open to learning and I'm open to hearing what you guys think about that. The next myth, number two, myth number two, is that the color of the ash, the whiter the ash on the cigar, the more quality the cigar is. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this is a busted myth also. It has nothing to do with it in all reality. What the color of the ash of the cigar leads to means is a direct representation of the soil chemistry that the tobacco is grown in. But most of it comes down to soil chemistry. So when you have really white, pure ash, kind of similar to the ash on the Jopito I'm smoking here, right? It's very white, which tells us that this tobacco was grown in high calcium, high magnesium soil. If you have a grayer, dingier ash, you're gonna have lower levels of calcium and magnesium. Now, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a chemist, I don't know all the details here, but that's the rough explanation of it. It's not because we're using the best and rarest tobacco, it's because of the mineral content of the soil that it's grown in, and that's plain and simple. Nothing there. Like I said, if you disagree, hit me in the comments, tell me I'm wrong. That's two myths. I got three more myths to go. And these ones are a little more interesting to me because they really are impactful on the way that you both consume and purchase cigars. As well as one of them is like just so like mind altering, frustrating to me that like we have to talk about it. I bet you can guess what it is, but I'm gonna save that one for last. So the next one is like the best way to think about it is judging books by their covers, right? Like, if the cigar's dark, it's strong. And I have two cigars here. I have the Liga Privada number 9 here from Drew Estates, and I have the Madonna Negra from Black Label Blackworks. And these cigars, as you can see, are pretty much the same color, and they're dark, right? These are dark cigars, especially when you compare them to the Jopito that I'm smoking now, which is a really nice Habano wrapper. What I can tell you about these two cigars is that they taste completely differently, especially in the strength category when you're talking about darkness. So if you looked at these two cigars on the shelf and you're like, dang, those are dark, they're gonna be strong, you would be right 50% of the time. The Madonna Negra is a freaking strong cigar. The Liga Privada number 9 is strong, but it's much sweeter It's much smoother. And if you didn't buy the cigar because you don't want to smoke something strong, or if you bought the cigar because you wanted to smoke something strong, you would be disappointed on one hand or the other. So what I can tell you is that the color of the leaf absolutely has no bearing on the actual flavor of the cigar, except when you're talking about Maduro cigars. And so I'm going to dive into Maduroing just a little bit here, but for those of you that don't know, when you're smoking a cigar called a Maduro, you're smoking a cigar that's gone through advanced fermentation. And when you ferment tobacco, you reduce the ammonia and nicotine content in it. So age and fermentation both reduce ammonia and nicotine content. And what that does is it makes them less strong and more sweet. So when you do find a cigar that's called a Maduro, or at least the wrapper is Maduroed on the outside of the cigar, and at least that leaf is sweeter. So that has nothing to do with what's inside of it, obviously, right? There's no, you know, the rest of the blend matters a lot, but that's a myth. So if you're new to cigar smoking, or if you just have been wrong this whole time, what the cigar looks like is no impact on what the cigar actually tastes like as far as body or strength or anything like that. What I suggest, like I always suggest, is pick it up and smoke it. If you like it, now you know. If you don't like it, now you know. And that's wildly beneficial information because you're never gonna buy it again. You didn't like it. Now you know. You don't have to waste your time or money anymore. You know, the next point that I'm going to talk about is cutting your cigar. When you cut your cigar, it's important that you don't cut below the cap line. And I don't know if you can see it on camera here, but it is very important. When you roll a cigar, if you cut below this cap line here that is on the cigar, you're gonna have the wrapper start unraveling. If people cut too deep and say, no, it's cool, I mean, yeah, you can smoke it, but you're gonna have the wrapper of the cigar start to unravel from the cap, and it's gonna make air be able to go through between the wrapper and the binder, and you're gonna have a bad time, as they say, right? Like, so it's a small myth, but it's a pet peeve. You wanna make sure you cut just enough off the top of the cigar when you're cutting the cigar for your smoking. If you have no idea what any of that means, use a V-cut or a punch, because they save you the trouble of having to measure where the cap is or where the cap isn't. So V-cut, punch, that's a tip that's gonna help you avoid the wrapper unrolling. The V-cut is like the easiest cut you can do, so go there. I'm at my favorite part in the video, right? Like, we've talked about a couple different things. I'm sure there's a lot of myths I'm missing, but where we're at now is the one that I think probably most of you are thinking about in your minds, and that is it Plume or is it mold? And like, I could go on a diatribe for literally hours about this, but the simple fact, it's mold. Just say what you want. It's mold. I've been wrong about this. I've actually argued Plume before, but since then I've come up across some research, and I'll find it and put it in the comments down below. It's mold. It's always mold. Plume is marketing. Plume is like diamonds are a girl's best friends level marketing. It's to help you sell stuff. It's to make you feel okay about buying moldy cigars. So like Plume and mold, what's the difference, right? So mold, people say, if you find white mold, you guys all know what mold looks like. If you find mold growing on the foot of the cigar, right here where you light it, if you find mold growing there, or if you find something that's white and looks like it's not part of the cigar, that's mold. And people all say that Plume on the side of the cigar, so if you have white stuff that looks like mold on the side of the cigar, that's Plume. And Plume is tobacco oil or oil from the tobacco that is seeped out, kind of like sap does from a tree, and crystallizes. And that's what Plume and mold is thought to be. Argue with me, please. Prove me wrong, because I would love Plume as a thought to exist, but it just doesn't exist. And I'm sorry to break your hearts if I did. I don't think I did. I think everyone mostly knows it's mold, but for those of you who think it's Plume, it's mold. It's mold. I'm sorry. Guys, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. I'm really happy to be back doing these videos, and I'm really excited to hear what you guys think about what we have going on here. Like I said before, comment down if you think that I'm wrong about any of these myths, or if there's a myth that we didn't hit. Next week, we're going to be posting a video where we talk about another really exciting myth, which is, does price really matter? And we're really going to deep dive into the differences between cheap or affordable cigars and expensive cigars. So I cannot wait to see you guys then. Love you all. Bye.